How's it going, guys? I got a 6.5 Creedmoor Stevens model / Savage 334 imported from Turkey. Today I'm going to be doing an accuracy review on this rifle. These groups were already shot prior to making this video. I was waiting for some cooler weather to come in and finally had some come in, and then I couldn't get my downrange camera to work, so at least you won't have to sit through the boring part of me shooting groups. We can just get right to it. I can show you the groups that was shot with 3 different types of hunting ammo. I'm not going to be shooting any match ammo through this. I maybe in the future, but this isn't what this rifle was designed for, nor what it was bought for. So it's strictly for hunting. So I've been putting hunting ammo through it. I put about 19 rounds through it. So far, so good. But that has not come without problems with this rifle. As with any rifle that you buy that is budget based, it's going to have 1 or 2 problems here or there. This one was not too bad. I've still got one problem I have to figure out, and I will demonstrate that problem to you during the course of this video. Now, this is, like I said before, chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. It does have the 22-inch barrel, not the 20-inch. So with that being said, we'll move on. The trigger on it. It does not specify how to adjust the trigger in the manual. So this was a pain in the rear. Now where this location is at is up inside here at this point, and at the end of the video we'll get into that, and I will try to get a good view of that for you so you can see where the screw is located up in here. And it's pretty deep up in there. Okay, so it is the Turkish stock. You know, it's a beautiful walnut stock. It is, the action and barrel is inlaid in it pretty well. There's hardly any gaps, so to speak, that are off. If you look at it, maybe I can get a good view here. It is pretty well centered in there. It is free floated. It doesn't make contact anywhere on the barrel. So now we'll get into the accuracy review of it. The 3 ammos that I used here were 140 grain Remington core lock standards, Deer Season XP 125 grain, and then we have the Hunter Precision ELD 143 grain. Like I said, each one of these shot very well for hunting ammo. And we're going to start with the first target I shot. And you'll have to excuse the groups being so close together on this. I thought the point of impact might be different from transitioning to different ammo. Wasn't much of a point of impact difference, so I did adjust the scope as I went after these 2 groups. So we're going to start with these 2. The Winchester Deer Season XP 125 grain. You'll have to, that's a typo. I put 129. It's actually 125. Sorry about that. As you can see, that is the 3 that I shot. The next 3 that I shot was the Hornady ELDX, and those come in at a .802. And the Winchester come in at a .829 sub MOA 3-shot group. So far so good. And I was pretty happy with that. I thought, well, you know, if it don't get much better than that, the accuracy is still pretty decent on this rifle. You can't complain, sub MOA. So then as I moved on, this was the 3rd group that I shot, and this is the Remington core lock. They're just the standard core lock. They're not the new tipped core lock. And the target is turned the opposite direction of how I shot. I had some vertical dispersion here. You know, it appears horizontal here, but it's actual vertical because the target was right side up when I was shooting. That measured a .865. Still good to go in the sub MO range. That's 3 different types of ammo. So then I thought, well, this barrel needs a little bit of a break in, so I'm going to keep going and I'm going to shoot 19-20 rounds through it to start out with. It's only fair. So then we got better. We moved on down to the Hornady ELDX, and it shot a excellent .489, slightly under 1/2 inch sub MOA. Now I shot 3 initially and my barrel was still pretty warm, but I thought, well, I'll go ahead and I'll try another one just to be sure, you know, it wasn't a fluke. So the 4th one ended up hitting right here and then opening that group up. This was actually the first 3 right here. Now on the 5th group, excuse me, we moved back up and we shot the Hornady ELDX again, and it was a .857. You know, not a ½ inch, but still a good group for a hunting rifle with hunting ammo. And the last group of the day was the Winchester Deer Season XP. Once again, there's a typo. It's 125 grain. And that shot a .695, which is very, very respectable. And some of you guys are going to say, well, it's, you know, it's a 3-shot group, it's not a 5-shot group. So, I mean, well, it's a hunting rifle, and I bought it specifically for hunting, not precision shooting. This group here, and I've never had much luck with Winchester Deer Season XP, or pretty much any Winchester ammo through any of my rifles or handguns that I own. You know, maybe they're getting better. You know, maybe it's just a fluke. Maybe I got a good lot, but pretty happy with that. I'm going to continue to shoot the Hornady ELDX and the Winchester Deer Season XP until it proves to me otherwise. Okay, so that's the accuracy review on it. Now, let's move on to the 2 problems that I stated in the beginning that this rifle had. And I still have one. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to show you. Chamber is empty, if I can get it to focus, maybe. Oh, come on, there we go. Empty, well, sort of. Empty chamber. Now we've clarified that the firearm is unloaded, we'll move on. So what I have here is 3 empty cases. Now this is just for a demonstration. It does the same whether they're loaded or unloaded, whether they have a projectile in them or not. So I'm going to go ahead and close the bolt. Maybe if I can do it with one hand here. Hold my camera steady. Sorry about that. There we go. Now this only happens when you're opening it and when it has 2 to 3 rounds minimal. The 3rd round will always cycle pretty good. And the issue that I have with it is when you pull this bolt back with 3 rounds in the magazine, fully loaded, this is what happens right here. The the bottom locking lug touches the shoulder. It actually jams into the shoulder of the round when you're coming back. And see how it moves, that brass? It actually grips onto it and gets a hold of it. Now, I can push this forward and I can pull it back hard. And you might say, well, that's not hard. Well, it's harder than it should have to be if you have to reload quick. You know, if you got target out, you've made a shot 100 yards or so, and then you have to follow up with another shot. Well, it's going to be tough to do that with a fully loaded magazine, especially if you shot with 1 in the chamber and 3 in the magazine. So now let me show you the damage that it actually does to the shoulder of your bullet. Now I've already done this with 3 rounds here. As I demonstrated, that only had 2 in it, and it actually come back easier, and it always does with 2. But it's a 3-round magazine, and when that spring is under full tension, this is what happens. See if I can get it to focus. There is a dent right there, you can see it in the casing. Now, for you guys that reload, this might be a problem because the repetitiveness of that is going to wear down the shoulder of that casing, and it's going to leave thin spots in it and could potentially lead to a catastrophe. I won't be reloading for this rifle, so it's not a big deal to me. The second problem that I had with this rifle is there is a pin. You'll have to excuse me for a minute while I remove this bolt. These are not that easy to remove. and I was able to fix this problem. There's a little stainless steel pin that sits right back there on the back of the action under the shroud. Now, that pin stuck up higher than it should, and I ended up having to file it down due to I could not bring the bolt back on it. The bolt, when it would not even move, it would hit it, clack into it, and I'd have to yank it really hard, and it would hit right here on the bottom of that. I don't know if you can kind of see it, where the sear connects in right there. It would hit. But like I said, that was an easy fix, and I was able to file that down very carefully. And these are a pain in the butt to get in, so there's one other review on here where the guy talks about how these are kind of a real pain in the butt to line up and get through. You have to excuse me, I'm gonna have to set it down for just a second. Okay, here we go, back on, guys. The last thing I want to talk to you about on this rifle is one thing that did impress me is the smoothness of this bolt. You know, with the exception of this pin back here and a loaded magazine. This bolt, I don't know if you can see that, minimal effort, very silky smooth. After a few rounds, it loosens up. It's kind of tight at first, but after I'd say about 10-15 rounds and working the action a little bit, it's going to loosen up and it's going to get fairly smooth. You know, for a sub $500 rifle, you really can't ask for more. Now this, I mean, with that being said, there is a lot of things about this rifle that reminds me of a Tikka. You know, just how the bolt design on it, the magazine design on it, and I have not verified it yet, but I'm thinking that a Tikka mag will actually fit this. I mean, it looks virtually the same. I don't have a Tikka mag yet, but I am going to purchase one. I took some measurements off this one and see if my hunch is right on that. If so, then maybe it might correct the problem with the bottom locking lug connecting into the shoulder. Who knows? I'm going to give it a shot just to see if I can get a smoother bolt open and see if I can keep that catch from happening. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. If I missed anything that you want to know more about, just leave me a line in the comments and I will get back to you as quick as I can. For the most part, you know, I give this rifle 4 out of 5, you know, and I would have gave it a 5 out of 5, but just the mere fact that I have to go in and I have to do things to make this rifle function the way it should, you know, like it should out of the box, you know, that hurt the review for me a little bit. But other than that, I mean, as far as the rifle goes, it's a great rifle, and if you're up on the fence about buying one, you know, I haven't heard any other problems with the rifle like I'm having. But then again, there's not really much out there on it, so just keep that in mind. And if you have these problems, you know, just you know, you can always go to a gunsmith, you know, if you're savvy enough yourself, you know, you have patience, you know, then you can correct the problems yourself. But oh yeah, one last thing I forgot. I was going to talk to you guys about the trigger adjustment on this, because it does not mention in the manual about this. And let's see if I can do it here without banging up my scope. Here on my wrist. Okay, and this is pretty tough to see, but I don't know if you guys, that's a silver screw. It's pretty deep down in there. And get my rifle set up. Maybe I can get a little bit, shine a little bit of light on the subject here for you guys. Okay. No, I don't think I'm gonna be able to capture it, but it's deep down in there. And to the naked eye, you can't really see it, but it is up in this corner, right up in here, and it's pretty deep, and it's an Allen key that's gonna take. I'm sorry I couldn't get a better picture of that and expose that. I'm still gonna keep trying here. Try it one more time, see if I can get a shot through that hole there. See if you can see it. Yep, there it is, right there. That is your screw right there. Adjustment screw. Now the trigger on this, I've got it set, I think the lowest I've got it to is about 3 pounds. I didn't really try to get it any more than that because I didn't want to have problems with my trigger locking up and not breaking on the sear, which will happen if you get it too light. It will not go bang. The trigger will go back and you'll get no click or nothing. It will just lock up. But anyways, guys, I hope that that helped you with your decision on the new Savage Stevens Model 334. I think it's going to end up being a great rifle. Time will tell out in the field, and I'll get back with you guys on a field review. Hopefully, sometime in after deer season is over. I'll try to get a video of my hunt. You know, how well the ammunition worked, how well the rifle worked, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good day.